Anita asks here, what do you think about secular or even atheistic paths to Kundalini awakening? Is it possible? I'm not interested in deity worship or any kind of lovey-dovey type path. Yeah, so I understand this. On paper, some of the Buddhist practices can be applied in a secular way, as an atheist, right? On paper, right? We sit to meditate with what is arising in this moment. We become mindful of the breath. We take note with our awareness, our concentration, our focus of the arising and passing away of sensations, right? We hone our concentration and we become in tune with impermanence, which is not different from the awakening of Kundalini Shakti. Impermanence and her dance is the same thing. Sitting in those practices will allow us to get through any sort of emotional healing, purging, purification, right? Being with whatever's arising and passing away will get us through the process. There doesn't need to be a relationship with God in that picture on paper, right? Even in Zen Buddhism, they sit, contemplate, who am I? They practice mindfulness in the moment. There doesn't need to be a reverence for a higher power or a deity or some sort of lovey-dovey devotional path. Doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm saying. It's on paper. It's on paper. Underlying it, deep practitioners know that there is some force beyond our minds that we can turn to for support in our practice. And the more you practice, even from a secular place, you begin to tap into it and feel it and understand it. It begins to speak to you. Synchronicities begin to show up, right? Deity, God, the divine begins to reveal itself for you, even if you haven't been looking for it. You can ignore it as much as you want. Eventually, you'll become unable to ignore it, and you'll lose yourself in love for it. You don't have to start there. Start with your atheistic path. Start with your secular path. Just be very practical. Notice what is arising here and now. God doesn't have to be involved in that. But the more you do that, you'll find God. God will find you. Can't help it. And you can test what I'm saying. Test it. Commit to a serious practice, then come to me in a year and tell me you didn't find God. Nothing magical happened. Right? I think this is a reasonable approach. Reasonable approach.